August 28, 1963. There was no Twitter, no Facebook, yet more than 250,000 people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. to listen to Martin Luther King Jr. speak. Today, in a world full of tech companies, why do people still wait in long lines just to buy Apple's products? So many political leaders have come and gone, yet we mostly remember Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King Jr. Why were the Wright brothers the first to invent the airplane when so many others were also trying to make flying machines? What makes some people create things the world remembers forever? The answers to all these questions lie in a powerful book, Start with Why. And today, I'll share with you the most fascinating lessons I learned from it. In schools and colleges, teachers often tell students again and again, build the habit of reading books. Yet, most students don't feel interested. But when the same advice comes from an influencer or a businessman, suddenly everyone becomes curious and excited to start. Have you ever noticed? The task was the same, but the impact was completely different. Why couldn't teachers inspire, even after years of convincing, while one mentor did it in a single day? The reason is the golden circle. Teachers usually tell you what to do. Read this book, read that one. Sometimes they also tell you how to do it. Read daily, take notes, stay focused. But they rarely tell you why to do it. They communicate from the outside in, starting with what, while mentors communicate from the inside out, starting with why. They say things like, do you want to build a strong personality? Do you want to learn techniques that make people truly listen to you? Then read Leo Lowndes' book, How to Talk to Anyone. That's the power of inside-out communication, the golden circle, which sparks genuine curiosity. Every influential leader and every trusted brand in the world follows this exact pattern. They always start with why. In 1903, while the Wright brothers were working on building the world's first airplane, a man named Samuel Langley was also chasing the same dream. Langley had everything: education, experience, a brilliant team, and even government funding. The Wright brothers had none of that, yet they were the ones who succeeded because they had something Samuel Langley didn't, a powerful why. The Wright brothers had a clear purpose. They wanted to help humanity fly. But Langley's goal was only fame and money. That's why the moment the Wright brothers succeeded, Langley quit his project. If his true purpose had been just to build an airplane, he wouldn't have stopped. The Wright brothers believed deeply that their creation would change the world, that it would revolutionize human transportation. And because of that strong why, they became the first to make it happen. Many people think Starbucks became famous because of its coffee, or maybe its locations and service. But the real reason behind Starbucks' success is its why. Starbucks wanted to create a third place, a space between home and work, where people could talk, relax, read, and connect. That invisible but powerful why made people fall in love with the brand. Today, everyone knows what they do. Some know how they do it, but only a few truly know why they do it. The same happens in every organization. Employees know what to do. Managers know how to do it, but only the top 1 or 2 people, the founders or the CEOs, know why. And that's why they're the most valuable. If employees change, the company keeps running. If managers change, there's some adjustment. But if the CEO changes, the entire identity of the company changes. Now think about this. How does Nike advertise without even showing its products and still make millions? Most companies sell with what? That's called feature selling. They talk about specifications, battery life, camera megapixels, design, and so on. Some sell with how. That's benefit selling. This chair is comfortable. It supports your posture. But rare companies like Nike and Apple sell with why. That's called core selling. They don't just sell products, they sell beliefs, values, and purpose, what their brand stands for. That's why they can create powerful ads without ever showing their products. Now, let's understand the biological reason behind it. Why don't people get inspired by what and how, but instantly connect with why? If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, you'll see it has three main parts. The outer part, the neocortex, relates to what? It understands language and logic. But the inner two parts form the limbic brain, which control emotions and decisions, and they don't understand language at all. So when someone communicates from the outside in, you only process facts and figures, but they don't move you. When someone starts with why, they speak directly to your limbic brain, the part that controls decision-making. That's what inspires you to act. Then your how and what simply support that decision and make it feel right. Neuroscientist Richard Restak once said, "Decisions made with the limbic brain, gut decisions, are faster and higher quality decisions." That's why no matter how many facts you tell an Apple user about Android being better, they'll never switch. Because Apple's why is crystal clear. Its purpose connects emotionally with the user's brain at a deeper level. Steve Jobs knew this better than anyone. When it comes to decisions, emotions always overpower logic. In fact, the world's first portable MP3 player was created by a company called Creative Technology in Singapore, but it failed to attract people. 2 years later, Apple launched the iPod and completely revolutionized the music industry. Why? Both were similar devices, but their communication was different. Creative said, a 5 GB portable MP3 player. Apple said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. One spoke what? The other spoke why. Human behavior can be influenced in two ways, manipulation or inspiration. When Motorola launched its flip phone, Razr, in 2004, it became an instant hit. Even celebrities and political leaders used it. 50 million units sold in just 2 years, an incredible success. But soon, competitors launched better phones, and Motorola disappeared. Why? Because they had manipulated customers, not inspired them. Manipulation comes in many forms: discounts, offers, limited time deals, or feature-based promotions. They boost sales temporarily, but they never create loyalty. True loyalty is when customers are willing to pay a premium price and stay with you through challenges because they believe in your purpose. That's why Apple and Harley-Davidson fans never compare brands. They are emotionally connected to their company's values and beliefs. It's why. The first Fortune 500 list was made in 1955. Today, only 13% of those companies still exist. The rest disappeared. Why? Because most of them forgot how to inspire their customers. They began selling with manipulation, lower prices and discounts, without realizing that once customers get used to buying cheap, they'll never pay full price again. In business, you don't need manipulators, you need leaders, people who inspire through purpose and belief. Energy excites, but charisma inspires. Microsoft's former CEO, Steve Ballmer, was full of energy. He jumped on stage, shouted with excitement, and tried to motivate employees through passion. But could that energy keep 80,000 employees inspired for months? Maybe not, because energy can excite people for a while, but charisma inspires them for a lifetime. Bill Gates, on the other hand, was quiet and shy, not an energetic speaker. Yet when he spoke, everyone listened, and people at Microsoft stayed inspired for years. That's the power of charisma. Energy excites, but charisma inspires. That's exactly what happened in 1963, when more than 250,000 people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., to listen to Martin Luther King Jr. speak. Even today, it remains one of the most powerful speeches in history. All great leaders seem charismatic because their why is clear as clarity, and it reflects in everything they do. If you notice, Apple's ads never show groups of people, because Apple stands for individuals. It lives by the message, "Think different." If I summarize Start with Why in just 3 key lessons. Always start with why, because the human brain makes decisions with emotions, not logic. Manipulation is temporary. Inspiration lasts forever. Once people are inspired, you don't need to convince them with facts. And energy excites, but charisma inspires.
Don't just motivate, create meaning. And finally, don't just remember these principles, feel them, live them. Real transformation begins when you apply them in your own life. Start with why, because that's where true success begins. If this video made you think, share it with others. Maybe someone's why will awaken today because of you. This video isn't the end. It's the beginning of a transformation that starts from within.
You've just learned how great leaders think. Now it's your turn to lead your own life with purpose. Every week on this channel, we break down powerful books that reshape the way you think, work, and live. If you're ready to grow beyond ordinary, subscribe, turn on the bell, and start your journey of self-transformation today.